everyone, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your weekly report. It is Tuesday, October 6th, 2020, and I am doing a quick report on what is happening astrologically, and it is really heavy energy, and this is going to be a brief video because I got about 3 hours of sleep last night, and I was up till 6 in the morning. I was wide awake, actually even past that, but the point is that we're all feeling this really pressured energy, and Saturn, which is the ruler of this year and represents structures and limitations and restrictions and challenges, stationed direct on September 29th, and Saturn rules the sign of Capricorn and all of the planets that have been transiting in Capricorn this year. Jupiter, which is in its fall position, expanding the narrative of this tale of lockdown and reconstruction and structuring and restructuring our lives and the world. Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, has been transiting in the sign of Capricorn on and off since 2008. They met up together, Saturn and Pluto, at the world axis on January 12th. Change the world, change my life, change yours, change the world. And the eclipses were in the Capricorn Cancer axis, and we had the two final eclipses over the summer. We had a total solar eclipse on the world axis on the summer solstice weekend at 0 degrees of the cardinal water sign of Cancer, hitting everybody. And that represents food and security and home and family. And then we had the final lunar eclipse in Capricorn on July 5th at 13 degrees of Capricorn. We fast forward to where we are now, and Saturn just stationed direct. And whenever an outer planet stations retrograde or direct, we feel that energy 5 days before and 5 days after. And Saturn has been retrograde, or was retrograde, as of the middle of May. It retrograded on May 13th, I believe. And now Pluto, which is the other big planet of the year, and that began this decade when it met up with Saturn at 22 degrees of Capricorn, which again is the world axis. It means it impacts people on the world stage, and it hits every one of us. And the cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And Pluto stationed direct on October 4th, right at 22 degrees of Capricorn. So it's exactly setting off this conjunction. And it's, we have both planets stationing within 5 days of one another, and we're still feeling that energy. And Mars, which is, has been a key player since the end of June, Mars is transiting in the cardinal fire sign of Aries. It retrograded on September 9th, and now it's parked, it's blocked between Saturn and Pluto. It already clashed with Saturn and Pluto, but all of these planets in Capricorn in August, and it, let's see here, the two squared each other on September 29th for a second time when Saturn stationed direct. That's really restrictive, frustrating energy, and makes you feel blocked, makes you feel frustrated, makes you feel like you can't move ahead. And Pluto, which is death and transformation, just stationed direct. And I got news a couple hours ago, Eddie Van Halen died, and I know I know a lot of big things are happening, but that's one of the greatest rock stars or guitarists of all time, and just big things are happening, and it's a big time, and I know that there's a lot more than that, but that is sad news to me. And it's just also that, in our own lives, there's going to be a lot of reveals of what we've all been dealing with since the beginning of the year, when Saturn and Pluto met up on January 12th, because Saturn is now at 25 degrees of Capricorn, where it was in the beginning of February. So we go back to that time. And that's when really most of us are getting more information about the pandemic. And it was a little bit before the social distancing got implemented and everything that we've all been dealing with. And Pluto is exactly where it was on January 12th. And we can expect a lot more reveals and information regarding the world, regarding your own life, what you've been dealing with since the beginning of the year, since January 12th and since the beginning of February. And also Mercury is now transiting in the sign of Scorpio. And Pluto, which is one of the big players, rules the fixed water sign of Scorpio. Mercury is very keen and perceptive while transiting in Scorpio, but it's going to retrograde on October 13th. And Mercury in Scorpio already gives secrets, and it uncovers hidden information, particularly when it's retrograde. And it retrogrades on October 13th at 11 degrees of Scorpio, and it'll station direct on November 3rd at 25 degrees of Libra. And this exactly sets off when Venus retrograded in the fall of 2018. Venus retrograded at 11 or 10 degrees and 50 minutes of Scorpio on October 5th, and it's stationed direct on November 17th at 25 degrees of Libra. Mercury is completely setting off that story again, so you may want to look back to what was happening in your life in the fall of 2018. There might be things that you're wrapping up or things that get brought up that you haven't dealt with yet. Mars retrograde, which it has been since September 9th, and it will be until November 13th. That brings up a lot of shadow issues around anger and pain and wounds and lack of courage that all of us are probably feeling on some level. But we also have the fact that Mercury in Scorpio is going to bring a big intensity with this. And tomorrow, Mercury opposes Uranus, the Great Awakener, the higher octave of Mercury. I believe it's at 3:55 p.m. Eastern Time, but I usually am good at giving times, but right now, again, 3 hours of sleep. Got to give me a little bit of a break. But I know that it does oppose Uranus, and I know it occurs at 9 degrees of Scorpio and Taurus. So that could bring unexpected information. That could be very chaotic. It definitely can raise your anxiety. I think that's probably why I couldn't sleep this morning. And often with Uranus cycles or Mars cycles, we feel it before it becomes exact. And I'm glad I just brought up Mars because I would have forgotten. But Mars is now getting close to the world itself. On the 8th of October, it gets to 22 degrees of Aries. So again, the world axis setting off that Saturn-Pluto conjunction, people being very fiery and angry and heated up. And then on the 9th of October, Mars and Pluto square each other exactly at 22 degrees of Aries and Capricorn. Again, triggering that Saturn-Pluto conjunction. You can imagine the energy to be very combustible and people getting very triggered, and a lot of big world events, and in our own lives, maybe shocking news, big stories. Lay low, take it easy, try to get some rest if you can. It's not easy. It's going to be a heavy week. It has been, and it already started on a heavy tone, and last week was really intense. So now we are where we all expected this to be. We knew that this time of year would be intense. So use your tools to meditate, to manifest, to get rest, to love each other as much as is possible, because this will be intense. All right, it was much longer than expected because I haven't had sleep. So thank you very much. Take care.